Boom. Welcome to Sollu Kaburz podcast and IPL time it is. And you know it is IPL time when you see me in this dress and when you see me interacting with other crazy cricket fans. And today is the day we are going to discuss about IPL auction with a Pakistani cricket fan, Asjad, joining from Leicester City, UK. He is the YouTuber that you all know in the cricket circles. Cricket for Us 2.0. He's getting big. He's coming in hot. He's getting famous. He's got Jamie Alter on his channel. He's got Cricket for Americans on his channel. And he got a very, very interesting Pakistani journalist on your channel. I just forgot his name.
Waheed Khan.
Waheed Khan. I love that guy. And you got him as well on the channel. Fantastic channel. You must be knowing. I mean, he's pretty famous. He doesn't need any introduction, I'm sure. But Asjad, thank you very much for joining, taking your time out on a busy weekday. Welcome to the podcast.
No, thank you for having me. This has been long overdue, I'm telling you. Since we started talking back in October, this is absolutely ecstatic about coming here, talking about IPL. I know everyone doesn't know me, Najeeb. Everyone knows you. You are Sollu Kaburz. You're the face of podcasts all around the world. Glad to be here and glad I could speak about the IPL auction with you today.
Thank you for the hype. Thank you, which most of it is something that I don't live up to, but you make me look nice. Thank you very much again. Today we are going to discuss IPL auction, as I said. But Asjad, tell me, you are a proper IPL fan, right? Since when are you watching IPL, basically? What are your earliest IPL memories, if you can, very quickly?
Right. My first IPL memory is Shoaib Akhtar bowling and Ganguly being excited that he was taking wickets for KKR. So that's when I started watching IPL. So that's season one. So I've gone from 2008, 2009 up till now. Watched almost every season apart from I think 2013-14 because I was at university. But otherwise, yeah, I've been fully in tuned throughout, and it's such an amazing tournament. It's a spectacle, isn't it? It's a festival every year. And it's great that it's come in like 5 months' time. Like the gap is only 5 months between the last IPL and this one. So yeah, I'm absolutely excited about it.
It is funny that you talk about the Shoaib Akhtar IPL because I used to love the Pakistanis who were back then. There was Asif playing for Delhi Daredevils. There's of course Shoaib Akhtar playing. I remember being really excited about Shahid Afridi coming to Deccan Chargers. That was a good bunch back then as well. It's very unfortunate that they're not allowed.
I know, man, but there's nothing they can do about it, right? Okay, I've heard the players, I've heard the boards talk about it, and they say if we were allowed, we would do it tomorrow. That's the thing. But because we cannot, therefore, let's just scroll past it. And it makes complete sense, which is the reason why Pakistan doesn't include India in its potential calendar, and neither does India put Pakistan in their, future tours. It makes complete sense with the current climate. So no, I'm okay with that. You mentioned Asif, you mentioned Shahid Afridi, you mentioned Shoaib Akhtar. I remember Sohail Tanveer getting what?
Yes. How can I forget that guy? Oh my God. He was one of the most pivotal members of that Rajasthan side that won the first tournament, right? What this left arm, late arm action.
Yeah, exactly. And his record wasn't broken till Alzari Joseph a couple of years ago. So I remember finally someone dethroned him almost 10 years later. So it's great, man. IPL is fantastic. And like you said, I've been a fan from the beginning and probably will stay a fan because cricket is beyond boundaries. And that's a quote you can write down.
Absolutely. Likewise for PSL as well. I watch a little bit of PSL and I especially watch when Lahore Qalandars is playing because they are as stupid as RCB. Believe me. So I kind of relate to that team. It's one of the it's one of those teams that frustrates you like RCB. I get those feels. There are these teams around the world, right? Like Middlesex in England, Brisbane Heat in Big Bash, Lahore Qalandars in PSL. They frustrate the hell out of you, but you just cannot take your eyes off when they play well.
Right. I'll tell you this very quickly, Najeeb, right? Think of it this way. I'm Pakistani. I feel like that every time Pakistan plays. Okay? That's the feeling we get every time. So completely get what you're saying.
Pakistan is the RCB of international cricket. Let's be honest. It's in every sense it is. People say SRH...
World Cup jeet gaye na. At least they won one World Cup, right? I'm just waiting for RCB to win the IPL because that excitement, AB de Villiers and Virat Kohli, now Glenn Maxwell in the same side. Oh man, Brilliant.
And who do you think would sell in today's auction? Before we get into the discussion, right? Just one last question: who do you think would sell in today's scenario in terms of Pakistani players? Right? What are the names that you can? Because I have some names, but you go ahead first.
I think there are two players I think would definitely get sold: Babar Azam and Shaheen Afridi. Both of them. Anyone else? This is the thing. They're not as consistent. Maybe Mohammad Rizwan with his current form as a wicket keeper for one of the sides, but it's tough to pick a lot of Pakistanis, especially in the IPL. But Babar Azam would be one, and Shaheen Afridi for sure.
Who would earn the highest bucks?
Shaheen Afridi. The reason why, because the IPL loves its bowlers, right?
Yes.
Right. You saw what happened yesterday. We know we'll get to it, but that is monstrous amount of money, right? Which might actually be pushed that way. Who knows? Maybe even Mohammad Amir, with all that controversy, maybe get one of the sides. So Punjab Kings, let's say, if they change their entire name, their entire brand, right? They need a controversial person into their side to get them talking. So maybe Mohammad Amir as well. So one of those three would be the highest. I think probably Shaheen Afridi.
Yeah, Shaheen Afridi would pick for me. I don't see any Pakistani batsmen getting sold apart from Babar Azam, to be honest. And bowlers obviously will sell in heaps. I think Hassan Ali has a decent chance of getting sold, and with his batting, Fahim Ashraf has a decent chance. Imad Wasim, Shadab Khan, and all these little bit of batting all-rounders might get sold, and so on, right? So
India has loads of them. That's why I didn't pick any of them. India has loads of batting all-rounders who can bowl a bit of spin, take wickets. Well, whenever it happens, I'm saying when, not if.
Yeah,
it would be amazing. It would be huge.
Exactly. Now let's get into the auction, Asjad. So what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to go team by team, all right? And I'll share my screen real quick. What we can do is see what they were missing last season, and have they covered what they were missing in this season, all right? That is the idea of this podcast. So if I can share my screen, we can also try and make some speculative playing 11 if you don't mind. And I hope audience don't mind our lighting, because I don't have power right here. So here we go. We'll just quickly get into it. I think Punjab Kings had done the highest number of shopping because they had like fucking 1,000 crores in their purse. So lots of shopping. What did you think of their auction? How did it went? What were their weaknesses last year, and did they cover it? Did they not? What do you think?
So they let go of Glenn Maxwell, right? Okay, who did not do the best for them last season. But you need a player who would be able to give you that type of position, right? They've gone for a bowler, like a bowling all-rounder for Fabian Allen. They've gone for someone like Moises Henriques this year. Again, they're bits and pieces players, but one player I'm absolutely ecstatic about, which I'm surprised only went for 1.5 crores, is Dawood Milan. Man, Dawood Milan is the best T20 batsman in the world right now. And the way he's just risen up past everyone is just outstanding. So for me, that pick is probably the biggest pick of them all.
I would call it the steal of the auction at very bargain price.
Dude, come on. Just at the market price. Surprisingly, Steve Smith got 20 lakhs more, or whatever he got extra as well. But that would have been a steal as well.
Yeah.
And still, I'm kind of excited about the fact they have Shah Rukh Khan. They've picked Shah Rukh Khan, the young player. He's performed very well in the past few months, as I've learned a lot more about him, and Mohammad Azharuddin, who's another young domestic player. So I'm glad they've gone with certain players, and it's kind of getting me more invested into Punjab Kings and their new branding and everything.
Right.
One thing they didn't lack, one thing they had last year was good bowlers, but they had one bowler who just kept going for a lot of runs. So Shelby Cottrell, but absolutely battered, didn't he?
Yep. So I think last year they were missing proper bowling. All right. So
they have two right now.
Yeah, and they have spent like Ambani amounts of money to address that problem, and they have spent quite a bit on Riley Meredith, who I was really surprised when he didn't get sold last year, because like, what the hell are teams thinking, right? IPL teams sometimes don't make sense to me. All right, their thinking just simply don't make sense. And now I was really happy to see this kid go. He bowls rapid, okay, and they have Jai Richardson. They have covered the basis with the fast bowling. I would say they should have picked another Indian bowler, because if in case Shami gets injured, right? Who's your next Indian fast bowler who's going to cover the base, right? And
Arshdeep, right? It has to be Arshdeep Singh, who played a little last season as well,
yeah,
but not so much. He was impressive, but not super impressive. So you
right.
can't really say, oh, he comes in. But let's hope Shami does not get injured, man. Shami needs to
Yeah.
play the entire IPL because he's one of the best Indian fast bowlers around.
He's the key, right? So that's the point. Say, I really thought they would go for someone like Umesh Yadav as a backup for Shami, but I see a lot of inexperience in the Indian bowling department, even in the spin department, right? These are not exactly capped spinners. So let's try to make a. Sorry.
I was just going to say, Morgan Ashwin and Bishnoi had pretty decent seasons last year. So they're uncapped, but they're still really, really good players. So I'm kind of glad they've stuck with, they've been, retained, for lack of a better term, by Punjab Kings.
Right. What do you think the 11 will be? KL, Gale, I'm thinking Mayank. Did Mayank open last time, or does Gale open for you? For me, I think Gale / Malan. I think Gale will not play 14 matches. So Malan is his backup. Malan is his back. So what they're going to do is they're going to make Gale warm the bench and rile him up a little bit so that he comes out with an extra fire, just like the last time, So I think they'll do this. What do we have here? Then they'll go for Puran, obviously, right? Puran.
And then Sarfaraz Khan probably, or Shah Rukh Khan, depending on who they want. I don't think they'll put in Shah Rukh Khan straight away. They'll probably go with someone like Sarfaraz Khan, who has done well previously in the IPL. Not brilliantly well, but I think it'll be Sarfaraz Khan because they don't have Glenn Maxwell anymore. Now, this is the thing, right? If we go back to their side, right? If we go here, they'll need to play one of Moises Henriques or Fabian Allen as their international all-rounder because they've lost Jimmy Neesham and they've lost Glenn Maxwell, So they've had to kind of counteract that by getting both of these players. Now, Fabian Allen is great, but he's no replacement for Glenn Maxwell. He might actually perform a lot better than Maxwell did last season. I think he scored 0 sixes and had a batting average of 12 or 15 or something like that.
Yeah, they badly needed a couple of finishers and they let go of finishers. I'm like, why?
Yeah, so they've let go of people like Maxwell and Neesham, but they've got perfect replacements in a way. Yes, Maxwell didn't perform very well in the last season. Neither did Jimmy Neesham, to be honest. But Moises Henriques has done very well domestically, and Fabian Allen has. So maybe one of Moises Henriques and Fabian Allen gets into the side. Yeah, right. Henriques probably more than Henriques Fabian. Probably. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, because I think he can also roll his arm a little bit. I guess Moses can bowl.
Yeah. He's basically, like I said, he's a replacement. He's a perfect replacement for Maxwell.
Yeah, he played under SRH. I don't know if you remember that season. He played ridiculously well. He used to be the reason why I have lost a ton of Dream 11 matches.
Really?
Yeah, believe me. Oh my God. Murugan, Ashwin, and Shami.
And then you get one of the three bowlers. You put two of them in.
Yeah,
so
Jai would play for sure. So it should be Rayleigh, Meredith, or Jordan. This should be the lineup, and I think this should be the batting lineup as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think. What do you think the weak point is looking like here? So for me, it's the finishing again, the Indian finishing and the Indian spin department. These two, it's
for me, right? I'll tell you my honest truth, right? For me, the Indian spin department, I'm completely okay with. The pace bowling side of things, we always like Punjab's pace, but then something happens and it all goes wrong. But in this case, they've covered their bases. They've got Riley Meredith, Jai Richardson, and Chris Jordan. Chris Jordan is amazing. He just doesn't do that well in the IPL.
It's a mystery, right? It is a freaking mystery that I never understood.
So it's good that he's still there. And then this thing, you're saying that they'll struggle with their finishing. But if they bat the way that Punjab can bat, KL Rahul, Gale, Mayank, Puran, Henriques, and Sarfaraz, man. Sarfaraz Khan can also tonk it, right?
Yeah.
So I think their batting is sorted. If they go with something like this, their batting is sorted. Fabian Allen can tonk it as well. So that's how they want to play. If they go to Chennai, they'll probably drop someone like, maybe they won't play Jai Richardson and Riley Meredith. They might bring in Fabian Allen and Moises Henriques together because Henriques can smash it, and we know it. So this is a decent lineup. I'm not like a playing 11. This playing 11 will look very dangerous.
Yeah. So they have what, 5 + 1, 6 bowling options. Not too bad. All right. Then let's move on to the team of the matter. I mean, I can talk about this team in a separate podcast as well, but let's look at what they have done. RCB, Nama Bengaluru. Here we are.
Najeeb, do we even need to talk about their top four? Can we just put their top four in straight away? Okay.
Mm.
Right?
I
Because
have some.
they've got partic-
I have a lot of
Yeah, go
questions
on.
about that as well. So for me, how did you think the auction went? Just shoot your thoughts first.
Just by RCB purposes, I think it was they bid too much. They
Mm,
bid too much for two players who are amazing, but I think it was too much. I think it was too much,
right.
especially Glenn Maxwell and Kyle Jamieson together.
Mm,
30 crores, man. That's 30 crores. That's
yeah.
too much money.
Mm,
Yes, I understand Kyle Jamieson is a beast. 12 would have been fine, but because everyone was pushing it, right? So they got the two players that they kind of needed. They needed a replacement for Chris Morris, right? Okay. And in a way, they needed a replacement for Moeen Ali if Moeen Ali was played the entire season,
mm,
right? You needed an off spinner, you needed a hitter. You've got Glenn Maxwell, he's in amazing form, right? You can never count a player like this out. It's the reason why he went for 14.25 crores. There's a
yeah,
reason why Moeen Ali went for 7, right? Because they are utility players, right? They can
right.
bowl, they can bat, they can field, basically everything. Now, this is where it gets interesting because they have 4 international all rounders on that list,
Mm,
okay? It's going to be hard for them to pick like one group of one person, but Glenn Maxwell gets in every time because of the money, because of what they've actually paid for him. He gets in straight away, and
right.
similarly, Kyle Jamieson. So they've kind of they don't know if they will go with Josh Philippe as their keeper or they might bring in Mohammad Azharuddin as their wicket keeper.
Right.
Because yes, AB de Villiers kept last season, sorry,
Mm,
but I don't think he's more useful in the outfield than keeping,
mm,
the way I see it for AB de Villiers. So
yes.
maybe if they look at it that way, they'll have. I don't see Adam Zampa playing every match, but he is
Mm,
absolutely brilliant. Like this guy is a top class spinner. Looking at their team is so stacked, Najeeb. I'm telling you, it's so good, but then they don't have enough Indian players to back it up. If you know what I mean. Like their international stars are so big, it's hard to fit just 4 into the 11. But it'll be interesting to get that sorted.
right. I have some things to say about RCB because it's RCB. I have no complaints with Glenn Maxwell because first of all, they need a finisher. I mean, AB de Villiers will not be the only one to finish games. They needed a finisher. I was kind of pissed off when they picked Aaron Finch last year because I'm like, why? Why do you need an opener? You know, it's like you need a freaking finisher who can handle if AB de Villiers fails, right? So absolutely no problems with Maxwell whatsoever, and even with the price, right? He can roll his arm over, he can bat, and a gun fielder, obviously, right? And a leader as well. He captains the Stars. For me, I was pretty furious with fast bowling. Okay. Number one thing is why did they let go of Morris? All right. Then what happened? They went full on for Jai Richardson. And they should have went for Jai Richardson. They did not even think about Riley Meredith when he was at the auction. I was absolutely fuming. All right. And then there were no other bowlers left. There were no other replacements left. So they had no other option but to go all guns for Kyle Jamieson, right? And he probably wouldn't have gone for that amount of money, but Punjab was being a bitch. All right. It was like, let's push this guy. I know they have no other option but to go for this guy. Let's push him. And Preeti Zinta, it just went bananas with the baton, and they just kept. They had no other option. Even if Kylie Jamieson was going for 18 crores, probably RCB would have bought it, right? Because that was panic buying for me. Kyle Jamieson is a panic buy. I'm not saying he's not a good buy. It's a panic buy at 50 at that price tag because they didn't have any other option. So I'm like, you dug a hole and you got yourself into. That's the way I look at that buy. But otherwise, pretty happy with Mohammad Azharuddin. It's again a finisher. All right, it's you can think of him as a batting replacement for Shivam Dubey, who was around with the RCB last year, who was playing down the order. But what do you think the batting order will be, right? Because remember, there is You speak of Indian lineup not so good. There are some names, right? Chahal, Siraj, Saini, the great Australian heroes of the down from the down under, right? Mr. Washington Sundar, obviously, who's batting. I'm sorry, I'm not letting you speak because this is RCB.
Take it
Right.
away, man. I know you know what to put in. I know exactly what the batting lineup you think you should have, and
But
I'm 90% sure it's the right one. So go for it.
suggest a way. Suggest a way. Just what are you thinking? We obviously have
Right.
Devdutt opening, right?
Then I would go Kohli next. I'd go Kohli.
Okay,
I'd go De Villiers after that.
right. Maxi,
Then yeah. Then Azharuddin.
Azhar should keep, obviously,
Exactly. Yeah.
right? And then
If you go back to the lineup, I'm
right.
just gonna add
hmm
something to that.
No Indian batsmen, isn't it? They have a problem of plenty, classic RCB. And when they have a problem of
Yeah.
plenty, Kohli is not good with selection. Let's be honest. It's like he makes a mess out of this.
Washington,
You know?
Sundar, man.
Yeah,
Washington,
yeah.
Sundar
Sundar will play, obviously. And then don't you think this is such a short batting order, though?
Yep, it is. Yeah. Okay, if you
I
go
think
back,
I think
who would you pick? Out of the
Sachin Baby should play. There is no other option.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Okay. In that case, yeah.
But
100%.
there is a couple of interesting ideas. Let's just say Dan Christian plays here. All right, because they picked
That's
Dan.
exactly what I was gonna say.
I have no clue why they picked him. All right, it's this. If he's a lucky mascot, sure he had a good Big Bash, but we'll talk about Dan Christian in a while. And then I think obviously Washington Sundar will play, and then Chahal, and the three fast bowlers, Saini, Siraj, and you would have to think Jamieson because he can bat a
I'd
little
say
bit. Jamieson because he can bat a little bit.
Jamieson would actually come in at 7 or 8. Najeeb.
Right.
Jamieson would probably come in
Sure.
at 7 or 8.
Sure. Yeah, this would happen. Here we go. So this probably would be the bowling order. I really thought they should have had one gun fast bowler here, but nevertheless, this looks like a decent lineup, don't you think? I desperately want these two to play, but that would mean a batting option would go out, isn't it?
I'll tell you what, Jamieson can smash it a bit. However, he's not as consistent in T20s so far. He's still young in his, international career.
Right.
So let's see how he goes. But Dan Christian, man, I know you mentioned him, but Dan Christian has been part of so many T20 sides that have won the tournament, right? That have won that specific league. So for me, he might be a lucky mascot. He might be just a guy who can do everything. Yes, he has had a very good BBL, but at the same time, he is very experienced, right? He will bring something into it. Even if he doesn't play every match, he'll bring in that mindset and that experience that he holds. Similar to what, and again, Dale Steyn didn't do a great job last season, but he brought some of his experience to help out the comparatively younger Navdeep Saini and Mohammad Siraj.
Right. I think Christian would go a little up, if I'm not wrong. So, yeah, I mean, and one more issue I see here is I know you favor Jamieson, but I think there is too much who's carrying the burden of this bowling lineup. I think Chahal, right? There is no fast bowler who can literally take some beating and still come back. For me, Kane Richardson is, for me, one of the most perfect T20 bowlers. I mean, he can take a little beating, he can get you the wickets, tall guy, and yeah, I'm very skeptical about this bowling lineup, to be honest. And as much appreciation you could do about Siraj and Saini, they go for runs, all right, and it's Chinnaswamy and all that jazz. So I'm kind of worried about especially the fast bowling lineup, and this is exactly why I was not happy with the fast bowling picks. I think they should have gone for Jai Richardson a little harder and picked him as well.
I'm gonna add one thing to your point, Najeeb. Jamieson and Kane Richardson is an absolute beast with the ball, right? Yeah. We agree. T20, he is very, very good.
Right.
The way I see it is, Jamieson is quick. He's got that bounce factor that you need in, slow, low conditions, right? On top of that, he can smash the ball. Kane Richardson can't bat much. That's the big difference for me. So that's why, to me, I go Jamieson. Also, they paid 15 crores for him. I don't see him sitting on the sidelines for too long.
Right.
That's all I'm saying.
Right. One more interesting factor is, would you open with Washington Sundar? Because he has opened,
To be honest,
Yeah.
he is a very, very good batsman. Maybe.
Yeah. Sure.
That's not a bad shout. That's not a bad shout. I don't think they will. Let me just, you can change it. But Najeeb,
Right.
I don't think they will. But
Right.
that's not a bad shout whatsoever.
Right. So that would be a podcast for another time. I'll probably do this combination when I do an RCB podcast, which I surely do before every IPL. So yeah,
Yes, please.
what looks strong, what looks weak here, Asjad, apart from the usual RCB curse that is always the weakness of RCB?
We said it initially. They have 3 batsmen and and then all rounders
Right.
up till you get to the bowlers, basically.
Right.
So they still, again, they haven't completely addressed that issue that they've had where they haven't had proper batsmen. Right. Azharuddin can be counted. So 4, sorry. Right. 4 batsmen there. But that's still too light for me. 5 to 6 batsmen makes more sense. And maybe that's the only weak link. I don't see much wrong with this team.
Right.
I would have probably not played Dan Christian. I would have gone for, I don't know who I would have gone for as at this moment, but I may have.
Yeah, they should have played. They should have picked a proper finisher at that role, right? Like, for example, I thought, I really thought they could have picked Alex Carey, who would look totally fit in here with his wicket keeping and finishing skills, or someone like that. But yeah,
they already have an international wicketkeeper who is Josh Philippe, right? Which is the reason why they didn't want to go for another international wicketkeeper. So if Josh Philippe plays, that'll be nice because then he fits in the opening slot with Devdutt Padikkal.
Yeah, sure. That sounds interesting. But we can talk on and on about this team. Moving on to the next one, we have the famous, the good old, and literally the old Chennai Super Kings. What were they doing? Oh yeah, here we go. The excitement. What were they doing, Asjad? Explain away. What were they looking for? What did they get?
Right. Okay. They were not looking for Cheteshwar Pujara. I'll tell you now. We're looking for
let's just talk about that for a little bit. I'm not sure if you were watching the auction live. The stupid people clapped when he was picked, and I don't know.
I got really happy about that. I was happy because I was having this discussion with a friend of mine who said Pujara will play 120 dot balls. Right. This is basically what he said.
Okay.
My response to that was, if you are a good enough batsman in Test cricket, you have an average of 50. I'm sure you can develop that in some way in the IPL. The perfect example I keep giving is Kane Williamson. He started, he didn't play T20s till about 2016-17. Before that, he was predominantly Test and then ODI. He didn't play T20s as often, but we saw him excel in the T20s for SRH. So I would reserve any issues with Pujara. I think Pujara is a pretty good shout. But again, me being Test oriented, I'm maybe a little biased. But at the same time, I think having someone like Pujara there is good. I liked the clapping, but again, we can disagree on that.
I think he has a T20 100, I guess. I guess so. In some domestic form, yeah. Well, forget about that. But what were they actually looking for? I think they were looking for off-spinning batting all-rounders, isn't it? They got
for Maxwell or Moeen Ali. Najeeb, I'm sorry to interrupt, but they were looking for Maxwell or Moeen Ali. They went for Maxwell all out. And then realized, we can't do this anymore, right? Now, let's go for the next best option, which is Moeen Ali, who's literally the same player. I keep telling everyone, Moeen Ali, Glenn Maxwell, Shahid Afridi, all of them are the same player. The only difference is Moeen Ali and Maxwell are a little more consistent with the bat, okay? And that's the big thing. Okay?
And then when they retire, they probably retire.
Yeah, they're not 42 and still playing. Okay, fine. In Shahid Afridi's defense, dude can still smash it when it's 60-meter boundaries, okay? But when it's 80 meters, then it's a bit difficult. So in this case, I'm kind of glad they went for Moeen Ali. Christopher Gautam, he was in Rajasthan Royals last year, wasn't he? And then he was like, so he's good, yeah. He's good with the ball. He's decent with the bat. So maybe that's a good option for them to have in case they don't play Imran Tahir as often, or Karan Sharma, or someone like Christopher Gautam would be a good shout. 9 crores though. 9 crores is a bit of a shock, but I understand what they were doing. They wanted all-rounders. They wanted someone young, and they wanted someone. Well, I don't know how old Christopher Gautam is, but they wanted some young blood inserted into their team. And as you can see there, we've got Uthappa from I think KKR. He's moved from KKR or something. So Uthappa will probably open now with with Rutraj Gaikwad. So
Mm.
they've got their kind of mindset. They knew they didn't need batsmen anymore. They needed one all-rounder, a spinning all-rounder,
Yeah.
because it's Chennai Super Kings, right?
Right. Right. Let's quickly make their 11 if we can. So you said they are going to open with Uthappa. I'm saying Uthappa and Faf. Faf would play for sure, right?
They have to play Gaikwad. They have to play Gaikwad. Yeah? Did you
Right.
see his, like, I don't know if it was a resurgence, but his surgence,
Mm.
insurgence into the CSK team. He started playing all over the place, batted
Right.
very, very well. So I might actually, again, you can put Faf at opening if you want. That's fine.
That's
But I
standard.
know Gaikwad would be in the side.
Probably in place of Uthappa, I think he would be. I think he would go first on the first match, and probably Uthappa will be tried later. Because Uthappa has been Uthappa for a while now. So here we go. And obviously Raina slots back in, which they were terribly missing last year. People
Yep.
have people don't understand how important he is to the CSK batting, especially when he left last year. So what happens next, Asjad?
They'll probably go to Raidu, I think. Raidu comes.
Right. Okay. Dhoni.
And Mr. Captain, yeah, MS Dhoni.
Right.
Then Moin Ali,
Moin. Sam
right?
Curran.
So that's their, yeah,
Sam Curran will come
that's
play.
three.
Right.
I don't think they'll play Bravo. I said this. I said this.
He will
to
be.
Gabe
Yeah.
yesterday when I was.
Yeah. Sure. He would be a replay. He would be like a backup for Sam Curran. Yeah. Sam
Even though
Curran.
he has 500.
Yeah. What a legend, though. Yeah.
I
Well,
know.
what's happening then next? Hazrat Karan Sharma.
Okay, I've forgotten Jadeja. Bhai. If we go up to number 6 and put Jadeja in, right, and then swoot everyone down.
Right. Yeah.
Again, this isn't the right batting order. It doesn't really matter. At least we've got the 11 right. We'll discuss the order later. But yeah, now, right, they've got Moeen, they've got Jadeja. Now they can go one of three ways. So they'll play Shardul, they'll play Deepak Chahar. Then they have one international spot left for someone like Hazelwood or Imran Tahir, depending on if they're playing at home, if you know what I mean.
Right.
Or if they're playing away from home.
Deepak Chahar and Hazelwood. Or slash Angiri as well is a good, decent backup. No?
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, and Angiri's pretty good as well.
As a backup?
He's expensive.
Right.
He's expensive. Yeah. That's my only issue with Angiri.
This looks decent. Yeah. The one of the strongest middle orders, obviously. Is this a 200, 220 team though?
This is a 170 team that will defend that 170 with their life, and one of them may die from old age.
Oh my God.
But honestly, I like the team, man. This is my favorite team. I'm a CSK guy. CSK is my favorite, has been my favorite since 2008, 2009 more. So yeah, I'm absolutely stoked about it.
Perfect. What was missing last year though in CSK, if you can really quickly?
Moeen Ali. Basically, they were missing another finisher barring Jadeja. Because Jadeja didn't fire as well. Jadeja fired, but didn't fire as often as, CSK needed him to. Mr. MS Dhoni did not fire properly the entire season. So they need another power hitter in 5, 6, 7 to kind of help out, because whoever they tried didn't really do much. Didn't really help. And the only reason I think they've stuck with Mitchell Santner is in case Jadeja gets injured, they have to put someone like Mitchell Santner into the side.
Yeah, sure. And he's their future insurance as well. He's going to play a huge part in CSK, I believe. They're not going to release him that easily. All right. Moving on to the RR, the team whose star players abandon it every time they get into the playoff. This is the story of RR since like few freaking years, but they got Chris Morris. Let's talk Chris Morris and why they got it, Asjad. 16 crores. This guy broke the bank.
They got Chris Morris because, number one, they needed a death bowler apart from Jofra Archer, right? Because we know Ben Stokes is good, but he's not the best death bowler. And number two, because RCB made a mistake. Yeah, well, RCB made a mistake, my friend. I'm telling you, RCB let him go thinking we can get him back for 8 or 9 crores, right? No, you're not Mumbai Indians, right? You can't sell a guy who you bought for 8 and then buy back for 5 next year. You will not be able to do that. You have to keep going. And they got to 10. And I saw their reaction. They're like, Yeah, man, we're not doing this now. We have to give up. So this is a very good choice. Chris
Hmm.
Morris does it with the bat. He does it in the field, and he is by far in T20 circles, he's one of the best death bowlers. The biggest issue he had is his injury scare
Yeah.
because he's very prone to injury. Okay, that's the biggest issue I have for Chris
Hmm.
Morris. But no, that's a good buy. Expensive. I said it on a different channel that I think 12 crores would have been enough for
Yeah.
Chris Morris. He is amazing, but going so far ahead, same with Carl Jamieson, 12, 13 crores would have made sense. But you said it right that they were just trying to push the other team to see how far they go.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, I think Chris Morris was a good choice, definitely.
Right. Again, change of captain. I don't know, man. Every time the IPL starts, I have high hopes for this team. This entire team is like Sanju Samson, right? They just do great in the beginning, they thrill you, and then they lose team.
In the
So
first two matches, they have an average of, I don't know, like Sanju Samson has an average of 77 in the first two matches.
right.
And then after that, his average is like 20.
Yeah. So they let go of Uthappa, who's an Indian opener. So I don't know who is their backup opener,
Ben
right? So for
Stokes.
me,
Third, Ben Stokes. Why is Ben Stokes not opening?
you won't
He
open with
scored
Josh
100.
Butler.
No.
Okay. So then Sanju, followed by Butler, I guess, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, Butler. Yeah, 4 or 5 at Butler. Yeah.
Right, right. And these are the guys who started opening with Butler and they pushed him back later, which is very funny. And
We we
here
have
again,
to
hmm,
we have to add Ryan Parag, Rahul Tewatia, people who performed well last season for RR in whatever capacity. But uh, Ryan Parag, we have Rahul Tewatia. Shivam Dubey comes into their side. RCB let him go,
yes,
and Chris Morris and Dubey moved here together. I don't know if Dubey will start, but he's
for
decent, man.
sure.
He's not a bad player whatsoever.
Who
Yeah,
he's starting for sure. He's my definite starter. Morris, and then we are going for Tewatia,
Tewatia. Yeah.
the star, the legend, and then Archer, and then Thiagi. What are we missing? There is a
Is
spinner missing.
is Tyagi play? Is Tyagi still with them?
Gopal.
Like, if you go
Yeah,
back.
yeah, yeah. Gopal.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Shaz Gopal definitely. Yeah.
Right, this might be their 11. And what are the weak points here? I don't see, for me it's like weak finishing in a sense, and weak Indian bowling options, especially fast bowling options. No replacement for Shreyas Gopal. I think
So
sorry, there is Mayank Markande obviously, but not good Indian finishing and fast bowling options. I thought they kind of missed a trick over there. They should have gone behind someone like Umesh Yadav for experience and so on. But it's again pretty, star dependent side. It's not really a star 11. That's my opinion when I take a look at this.
right. I'm just gonna add 2 points to what you just said.
Hmm.
I think they are more likely to play. If you go back to the side, there's a player I saw on that I was like, oh, they should probably start off with them.
Mhm.
And the player is okay. So not Unad Kat. You
Hmm.
said Tyagi. A player on there that I just saw. We saw Mahipal Lomror play not a big role, but a decent role in the previous season.
Right.
He had a couple of decent knocks, so maybe he's someone comes in. Yes, they have a weak middle order,
Mm.
but Butler will move down, man. I'm telling you. But if they lose quick wickets, or as you would say, if they lose quick wickets,
Yeah.
right? Butler will move down to number 5 or number 6, okay? And then you have Ryan Parag at 4 or 5 or something, and that
Mhm.
would balance it. Manan Bora is an absolute beast with a bat. I remember when he was with Kings
Punjab.
11 quite a few years ago.
Yeah.
So he was very good at that time. So they've got decent batting. I don't know if they will Indian batting, sorry, but I don't think they will need all of their players. They'll probably rotate Bora for Jaiswal, and then Ryan Parag will stay in, but Lomror might come in and then go. So they've got a decent side. It's hard. They've got replacements. Andrew Ty is in place of if Jofra Archer doesn't.
They have Fizz.
And the Fizz is in instead of Chris Morris, because Mustafizur Rahman is very, very good. And it's good that he's gone with the side.
Single-handedly won SR. Yeah, single-handedly won SRS their IPL in 2016. Single-handedly.
In the critics' mind, that was 5 years ago, approximately, right? But at the same time, he is very good. He is very talented.
Especially on the slow. If they might even think about including them in Chennai pitch, right? Because he can bowl those cutters.
Yeah, I unfortunately don't know much about Chit Sakaria, Kuldeep Yadav or Akash Singh. I don't know as much about those
Hmm.
guys, but I'm sure they'll get some sort of go depending on some time in the tournament. David Miller is a name on there, which I would love for them to start off with. But who would they add in? How would they get in David Miller? There's no way they can get in David Miller.
He is a backup. He's a backup finisher in that sense,
Yeah,
Miller.
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
And when they were playing last time around, I had no clue. I mean, I'm kind of happy that Steve Smith is out of this team, because Steve Smith, I don't see Steve Smith making it into this 11. This team, I thought, Steve Smith is using up one abroad slot where any other player with any other role could have filled up. So I'm kind of happy that Steve Smith is out of here. And this team still has issues, but I think their 4-4 are sorted. You just hope that they're available for the entire IPL.
Agreed completely. We've heard about Ben Stokes and Jofra Archer being the face of England, being allowing them to play in the IPL playoffs if Rajasthan do get through. So yeah, definitely they need their entire team fully fit to even get to the.
Sure. All right, moving on to the Mumbai Indians. Shall we just stop this podcast right here and just say that they'll win this IPL and just end it?
Right. I'll tell you this. Yes, Najeeb, nice to meet you. Welcome. Thank you. This was a short video.
This was short,
But no, dude, these guys had already got 9 of their 11 sorted, right? The only reason they went at the auction, they were like, let's see, yaar, kisko le sakte hain, right? Adam Milne, Nathan Coulter-Nile, right? Piyush Chawla they got for pretty cheap, I must say. I think Piyush Chawla is an absolute beast. That's pretty cheap the way he got him. Jimmy Neesham, Punjab let him go. They're like, no, we'll pick you up in case Nathan Coulter-Nile or can't play, or because Coulter-Nile is prone to injury. You have someone like Jimmy Neesham who's also prone to injury. Yeah. But this is a good side, man. This is like, I'm telling you now, I feel bad for Chris Lynn. If Chris Lynn is in their side, he's not getting a game. He's still not getting a game. He cannot get a game.
Here's the deal, bro. Here's the deal. Okay, so tell me this, Asjad. You have seen many auctions over the years. How is it that Mumbai gets it bang right? Like, they are like the masters of this thing. They got this shit figured as hell, right? What is it? What is it about them?
They know exactly, number one, who to go for when. Okay, that's the key. When to go for these players. They went for Hardik Pandya, Krunal Pandya quite early. They went for Kieran Pollard quite early. They went for Ishan Kishan, Surya Kumar Yadav, Rohit Sharma. Okay, it's maybe the way they're constructed, the way they kind of analyze, whatever the case. They always know what they need and they get it, right? They needed someone like Malinga, but Indian. They got Bumrah, right? They needed a death bowler and an opening bowler. They got Trent Bolt. They needed Nathan Coulter-Nile for less money, and they got him for less money this time around. They have a way with these things. I don't know. I can't explain it, but they always know who to go for. They probably priced it right, okay? They probably know this is how much we're willing to pay for this person. And if anyone else goes for it, he will fit into our side very well. We're not going to go way up above a certain, like they'll have their own cap, which is why the Ambanis are absolutely rich, Najeeb, right? That's the reason why they know how to save money or how to spend money, okay? So now in this case, I'm telling you, their top, like the 9 of their players are straight shooters for that side. I don't even think we need to make an 11. We know the 11, right?
See, again, I was really pissed off. I was really pissed off when RCB didn't go for Adam Milne, which was a bargain. They didn't go for Nathan Coulter-Nile, they could have at least behaved like a bitch and pushed this guy's price. They didn't even use the baton for this guy. It was unbelievable, RCB's auction. But anyways, we are talking about Mumbai. So let's just draft this IPL 2021 winning 11.
Something, Najeeb.
Right.
I'm just going to add one thing. Them selecting Arjun Tendulkar is one of the best things I've seen in quite some time. And I'll tell you why. Because this guy is, yes, doesn't matter where he came from, whose son he is. But the way he played recently, right? He's been in really good form with the ball and with the bat. He scored 77 of 30-odd deliveries, okay?
Right.
He can bat because of his, generation. But, like, he can bowl very,
he's a left-hander.
Well. I've seen him bowl in the nets. Yeah. He's very good. So I honestly, I consider that buy being a very cheap buy. And if he gets a go with Mumbai Indians this season, I'll be so happy because he deserves it, man. He's a very, very good player. He's still young, still needs development. He's doing all that. But if he gets a chance, if let's say Mumbai Indians go through an India in Australia phase, if you get me, right? Loads of injuries, like
Yeah.
6, 8, 9 injuries.
Yeah.
Arjun Tendulkar is a great shoot to start off, and I think he's a really good pick for them. So, sorry, let's continue. I just wanted to mention that.
Yeah, no problem. I was about to come to Arjun Tendulkar. I was thinking about a meme that was going around on Twitter yesterday, where there is this uncle who's giving some money to a kid, like Rakle. So that uncle apparently is Ambani, and the kid is Arjun. That was a ridiculous. I couldn't find it right now, but and how can a Tendulkar play for any other team apart from Mumbai? Like,
Exactly.
you know.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, no issues. He'll be just based on his performance. But let's just straight away make 11. We obviously have Rohit Sharma. I think what Mumbai did was Mumbai had their team sorted, and they were like, let's shop for one-on-one replacements. That's all they did. They went for Jimmy Neesham because they needed a finisher in case Pollard needs a rest. They needed Milne and Coulter-Nile because they needed, if in case Trent Bolt needs a replacement or Bumrah needs a replacement, And they went for Marco Janssen, who's a left armer from South Africa. And dude, when they scout these little kids, you have to be wary of Mumbai scouting, because Mumbai scouting has given us Bumrah. It has given us Pandya brothers, you know.
Yeah.
So this guy is a tall left armer from South Africa, apparently.
Ishan Kishan, Surya Kumar Yadav, right? A lot of these players, the way Mumbai Indians have kind of brought them in, Rahul Chahar in a way as well, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of these players kind of managed well, and we'll get to the side. You can make the side all by yourself.
Oh yeah.
I don't even need any input in there.
Sure. Pollard, Kronal. What are we looking at
Surya,
here?
bhai. Surya. Surya
Sorry.
at 3.
I'm sorry. Surya, Kronal. We got Rahul Chahar. I totally forgot.
Excellent. Well, I think Rahul Chahar goes at 9. We go with Nathan Coulter-Nile at 8.
Coulter-Nile plays for you, is it?
I think Coulter-Nile plays, huh? Yeah. I think Coulter-Nile starts off.
Coulter-Nile.
And then Rahul Chahar. And then Bolt and Bumrah at the end.
Bolt, Bumrah.
How do you? I know how good. Yeah, go on. Sorry.
How do you possibly beat this team? Like what? Where? Like, if you're a coach, plan it. Give me a plan.
Rain.
Honestly,
man, it's very tough. It's very tough to beat this side. You look at the top 7. And I guarantee that gets you at least 180 every match.
Yeah.
180 every match. Right?
Absolutely.
Then you look at their bottom 4. I'm not counting Pollard, Krunal, or Hardik in the bowling right now. I'm just saying, look at that bottom 4. Trent Bolt and Bumrah together got more than 45 wickets together last season.
Sure.
Okay. You have Rahul Chahar, who is a fantastic leg spinner, who again didn't have the best IPL last season, but still bowled very well. They have replacements. Again, Jayant Yadav and Piyush Chawla are perfect, not replaced, but you know what I mean. They're perfect, like to like.
I'll tell you some like to likes here. Lynn, all right. Ishan Kishan has Saurabh Tiwari as a like for like.
Yeah.
And look at the left-right combination. Rohit Sharma is obsessed with left-right combination, obviously, and is there a base that they're not covered? For me, their weakness is, like, I won't even call it a weakness, but if you really want to have some shot, go in the middle overs against their spinners. That's your only like best chance. Otherwise, forget about.
As long as Pollard isn't there. As long as Pollard isn't there, then yes, spinners. But as soon as Pollard comes in, spinners ki vaat lagne wale. I'm telling you, they're gonna get absolutely.
No. I'm not talking about the batting. In the bowling, if you really want to target the bowling, all right.
Okay.
Go for.
And Rahul, man.
Yeah, That's your only hope. Otherwise, there's nothing else you can do. I wonder how many teams beat Mumbai last time. They hardly last like 2-3 matches, I guess. But Mumbai deserved to win the last.
Beat them once.
Yeah, RCB too, I guess. RCB beat them once too, So they shopped for these guys. They shopped Neesham. They got Milne, and Bob's your uncle. Give them the trophy.
Yes.
Winner.
Yes, exactly. How do you beat this side? It has to be an amazing performance.
Yeah.
The chicken dinner.
They're gonna get the chicken dinner. Let's. Okay, let's move on to the next side. The runner-ups. I always one of the most confusing things for me is Delhi shopping in the auctions. Last year, this year, what what was they thinking? Why Steve Smith? First question, why?
Steve Smith is a very, very good batsman, right? He has a good cricket mind. He
Hmm.
knows how to scuff up the pitch if he
Hmm.
needs to, okay? He knows how to use sandpaper. He has certain skills that other players don't. But on a serious note, they needed someone international in the middle order. They need like Hetmeyer can't do everything. They need, and I don't think Hetmeyer plays now. I again, he can do stuff. He can take the game from here to here. But I
Hmm.
would always play Steve Smith in place of someone like Hetmeyer. They open with what Shikhar Dhawan and Prithvi Shaw probably. Okay,
Hmm.
and Sam Billings again. He's a good finisher, but I don't see him playing every single game either. So they go with Shikhar Dhawan, Prithvi Shaw, Iyer, Rishabh Pant. I don't even see Rahane playing that often, but if Rahane plays, that'll be great because Rahane is like absolute beast, right? You have
Right.
Steve Smith,
Hmm.
right? That's 5 to 6 players already. You have Stoinis, right? That's 7 players already. Then you got Ashwin, Akshar Patel, and then you go with Umesh Yadav. Anrik Nortje and Rabada. Ishant Sharma. Right. This team is difficult. Let's make the 11 because
Yeah.
it's going to be difficult. I'm telling you.
Yeah, their bowling first of all, for the first thing I look at this team is their bowling is sorted. I would argue that it's as good as it's like the next best thing to Mumbai's bowling lineup for me.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's
So
fantastic.
I
Let's
said
just
this
start.
yesterday.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Go.
Go.
Shikhar.
You were saying about something about yesterday.
Yeah, I was saying that the three best bowling lines at the moment, in my opinion, are Mumbai, DC, and Rajasthan Royals. The way
Hmm.
they've chosen. So
Hmm.
definitely those there.
Right.
Let's do the
Mumbai.
team.
Right.
Shikhar Dhawan,
Dhawan
Prithvi
and
Shaw.
Shaw's form. It's I would put Rahane here because Shaw and his form
Yeah,
is pretty infamous. So Iyer follows and then Pant and then I kind of
probably Smith above Pant, I'd say.
let me just argue with this here. I think for me Billings is in the form of his life. I would play him. I think I would even dare to start with him. It's uh, let's just see what happens if Billing starts. All right. So Billings, and we have Haiti as one backup, and then Smith, and then we obviously have Stoinis, who was the finisher last time, and then Ashwin. And let's just slot this legendary bowling lineup here. Mishra,
Aksar, Aksar Patel,
Akshar Patel, will he play?
he has to play. I think he has to play.
Right, Akshar, Mishra, no,
Norkia and Rabada.
no, Kia. I would.
Ooh,
You know what?
I've
I
got a
don't,
thought.
I don't know. I'll
I've
just
got a
write.
thought.
Uh huh.
I just want to say something.
Yes.
You know what? I know what you're going to say.
Mm.
They're missing an Indian fast bowler
Yeah,
in that lineup.
yeah, and
Okay,
they don't have a proper third fast bowling option. They have two good and
they have
three
Stoinis.
spinners,
They
and
have Stoinis. That's it.
Stoinis will do the job for them. Uh-huh. Uh, so does this look good? You desperately want Smith in the team. What do you want to do?
I understand what you're doing. I
Right.
understand why you've not gone for someone like Steve Smith.
Mm.
You need some sort of finisher, right?
Right.
Which is the reason why you've gone for Billings and Stoinis. But
Mm.
Billings and Stoinis are absolutely brilliant finishers. Now, batting line wise, I don't know what order they're playing, but
Mm.
I don't see Sam Billings starting off, especially,
Okay.
especially
Hetmeyer
when Steve
probably will
Smith,
start off, right? Yeah.
maybe
Het,
because
Het,
he played last season, they're gonna go with someone like Hetmeyer. Yeah,
yeah.
maybe.
And how did he do last season? What do you remember of him? Decent, not too much, not as much as we expected from him, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So Nicholas Puran had a much better IPL than Shimron Hetmeyer. Hetmeyer
Absolutely.
scored a couple of good knocks. I
Mm.
think he had a couple of good knocks,
Right.
but otherwise he wasn't quick enough. The one
Mm.
big I was bothered by his batting last season was that he was too slow in this early innings, and then he got out.
Right.
So if you're 15 or 17 and
Hmm.
you get out on 16 of 18, that's not great. But if you're 15 of 17 and then you're 50 of 30, then
Hmm.
your innings changes, doesn't it?
Right. I want to give you a puzzle question. So if you want to open with Stoinis, what do you do?
I don't play Shaw.
Mm. So
I don't
Stoinis
play
goes up
Shaw.
for Shaw. Uh-huh.
Oof, that's a tough one. That's interesting.
So we need it. We are looking
Who
for an
else?
Indian finisher, which is not there.
You need an Indian. Maybe Umesh Yadav plays in the bowling side, right? Down the order. But yeah,
Right.
this batting lineup looks very weak. This
Mm,
batting lineup looks a bit weak.
So
That's
I don't
interesting.
think they'll go for that option just because of that. I think they've shopped way too many bowlers. Tom Curran, Umesh Yadav is what they got.
Hey, Najeeb, Vishnu Vinod is a wicketkeeper batsman who I've heard a bit about,
Hmm.
and Ripple Patel. I've heard a bit about them. I
Right.
don't know how good they are though, so I can't really say much on that front. But do you know much about those two?
No clue. But here's the thing: this might be the experimental 11. Because for me, what happens is last time around there was a point where Shikhar Dhawan and Rahane played, and that to me is like a slow opening partnership. I think they need a basher at the start. So if Prithvi Shaw goes out of form, I don't know what they'll do with the batting order. It's a tricky one. If they start off with Rahane and Shikhar Dhawan again, I don't
Do
see
you
how.
think,
Hmm.
Najib? Do you think they can play Rahane at number 3 and put Stoinis to
Rahane at number 3 and put Stoinis to open.
open
Hmm.
with
Yeah.
Shikhar?
Yeah. So that would mean everybody would slot a little down. So yeah, this looks reasonable.
And
Rahan,
this is where Hetmeyer wouldn't play. I think in this scenario, you'll
hmm.
have someone like Sam Billings playing because
Sam
you'll need
Billings.
a finisher at the bottom, you know?
Yeah, Sam Billings. Yeah, sure. This would be a good experiment 11. But whatever you do, Asjad, let's just make Asjad's 11 because he desperately wants Steve Smith in the side. What would you do to get Steve Smith in?
Okay, I'd go Shikhar
Hmm.
and Shaw.
I think Steve Smith should be at top three. Is that a non-negotiable or
Yeah,
is
yeah,
that a
yeah,
negotiable
100%.
for
Yeah,
two?
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
So I think
So
Shikhar and
Shikhar,
Smith might probably even open if I'm not wrong in your team.
Smith would be 3 for me, but yeah, you can put him at open, man. It's fine.
Mm,
Open slot is fine.
right.
And then I kick out someone like Hetmeyer, and then I'll bring in. Uh, let's see. That's an interesting option.
You see why
I'll
I
go
don't like Smith
with
in the 11? He slows down the odd. I'm just
put Rahane. Put Rahane in the side, man. Put
Yeah.
Rahane in
If
the
you
side.
if you really put Rahane in the side, you just take a look at the top three. That is like, are you playing at MCG on a Boxing Day or what are you doing exactly?
But Shikhar Dhawan can smash it. Yes, he's a slow starter, but
Mm,
dude scored what 2 centuries last year in a row or something.
mm,
So he's. I haven't seen him play since then, but he's very dangerous. So not a bad shout having him in the side. You know,
right. I don't know, Azad.
I'm
Taking
happy with that. I'm happy with that.
You're happy
I'm
with that
happy with that.
because you're happy with Smith not sitting on the bench, right? I was just joking yesterday in the WhatsApp group. Sorry,
Not a go on, go on, go on.
I was joking in the WhatsApp group of my cricket friends WhatsApp group is that like Ponting is basically making an Aussie 11. It's like Aussie Capitals.
Dude, I'll tell you what. I'll probably kick out Amit Mishra and put in Umesh Yadav if this is Asjad 11. By the way, just saying.
Hmm. You are forgetting the services of Mr. Mishraji, who has been an absolute legend for
Oh no
Delhi
no,
Capitals. Yeah,
I
so,
agree.
hmm.
Absolute legend, 100%. But I don't see them going with 3 spinners.
Exactly. That's a point, right? So probably Mishra, you're saying Umesh Yadav or Ishan Sharma, which is like same people.
I forgot about Ishant.
Yeah,
Ishant needs to get into the side. Ishant is an absolute. Ishant is amazing.
you know. So Rabada Ishant
I'm
opening,
glad I'm not Ricky Ponting. I'm glad I'm not Ricky Ponting. Let's just put it that way.
right? So yeah, still a good side and probably will make it to the playoffs. I have no idea why I did not rate this team last year around. So hopefully this time they don't do anything different. Moving on to the Sunrisers Hyderabad. Again, I have huge respect for teams that do minimal shopping because they pretty much have the shit figured. But I think their auction went decently. They bought some good options. They had a weak Indian middle order and they bought someone like Kedar Jadhav. What did you think?
I think they only bought Kedar Yadav as a worst case scenario in case they can't play all of their all rounders. So if Mohammad Nabi isn't playing,
Mm,
they can get Kedar Yadav to play. Okay, I
right.
think that's the only reason why they've gone for Kedar Yadav. Um, Surprised they've actually gone for him.
Hmm.
Honestly, I didn't think anyone would. I thought he was going to go unsold. based on his last season's performance. But they replaced, like you saw last season, they went with who was it? Abhishek Sharma, Abdul Samad, Priyam Garg, and Kedar Yadav is just so experienced that it helps kind of that
Basically,
turn on that middle order if need be.
An experienced Indian finisher is what they were looking for last year when Garg, Samad, they've tried everyone, but they bought Kedar Jadhav in. That's my thought exactly. So, and they got their Afghan trio together. They got Mujibur Rahman, which is an excellent replacement for Rashid Khan.
Perfect replacement. Can you imagine? They're not going to play together. I'm telling you now, they're not playing together. But if they did, this would be Afghanistan, like Sunrisers Afghanistan. Definitely. That's what...
Sunrisers Kabul.
Yeah, Sunrisers Kabul.
Oh
man. Brilliant side.
Yeah, brilliant side. Let's just what's happening here. So Warner, what do you do here, Asjad? Straight away, opening with. I don't think your answer would be Barrister straight away. That I'm sure of.
It's Williamson or Bairstow. Put Williamson in for now.
I would say Saha for opening, and then Williamson at 3 if you're going for Williamson.
Right. Okay. Let me think. Take me to the side for me, just for 2 seconds, please.
Yeah,
Manish Pandey. Yeah. So you have, who do you have? So we've got David Warner, we've got Saha, we've got Ken Williamson, we've got Manish Pandey, Priyam Garg or Abdul Samad. One of them will 100% play.
They have a gem. They have gem all-rounder finishers, absolute gems. So I think
they do. They have Mitchell Marsh, Jason Holder, Mom.
Right. Let's just say Vijay Shankar is going to play at number 5.
Vijay Shankar.
Yeah.
Wow, really bold move.
Dude, 3D, bro. Come on. Don't you know about this guy? 3D. You know the 3D thing, right?
I know about this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The 3D joke.
I know about the glasses.
Right.
Yeah.
No, genuinely speaking, I think he gives a bowling option as well. So I would play this guy.
He does, but I would play Mitchell Marsh instead of Vijay Shankar, though.
Yeah, let's just do that, right? We have 2 foreigners here, so I'll play Mitchell Marsh out here. Obviously, whose replacement is Holder, and
we have Rashid Khan next, whose replacement is Najeeb.
Rashid
because
Khan.
Mohammad Nabi isn't getting into the side.
Yeah, it's pretty tough for that guy. So what do we have now?
You have Natarajan,
Khalil, Sandeep Sharma,
Bhuvaneshwar Kumar, and Shahbaz Nadeem probably.
Nadeem would make it.
Wait, hold on. Will they play Shahbaz Nadeem or will they play Abhishek Sharma like they did mostly last season? Like they tried to.
Excellent question.
Abhishek. Yeah.
Excellent question. Let's just get back to that question in a while. So they'll play Bhuvi and Khalil Ahmed for the left arm option, and Natarajan.
Natarajan and probably Sandeep Sharma will play instead of Khalil, man.
Fair call. Sandeep Sharma. So whose replacement might be Khalil Ahmed? Now, this is a good question. What would they look to strengthen? I think 4 proper bowling options plus 5 plus 6. They would play Nadeem, right?
They might play Abdul Samad. And the reason why I'm saying that is because prior to coming to the IPL last season, he just built great bridges for himself in Kashmir, smashing sixes and everything. So it's Abhishek Sharma or Abdul Samad for me. I'd actually go Abdul Samad more than
go for Abhishek because of the bowling option. So they now look like CSK. CSK has like a ton of bowling options. So they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bowling options. So
do me a favor, put Bairstow at the Bairstow as a replacement for Saha, and then instead of Williamson, you play Priyam Garg. Does that make sense?
Then who would keep for you?
No. I'm saying if Saha doesn't play, right? Then you have Bairstow and Garg coming in for Williamson.
Yeah, they can do that as well. Still a pretty. I feel bad for Nabi. He.
How will he get in? How can he get into this side?
Exactly. I don't know why they bought so many all-rounders, but let's just try to make an experimental SRS 11 to bring all the 3 Afghanis in, right? So what would you do? Tell me.
Warner is the captain. Okay, so all the other internationals go out.
So,
right?
William. Williamson goes out, and so hang on. So let's just
Nabi comes in.
adjust this batting order a little bit to get the three Afghanis in. So Pandey goes a little ahead. Shankar goes a little ahead. No, I think they stay where they are. I think Garg comes in. Garg will come in. Shankar, Mitchell Marsh would Nabi would slot in for Mitchell Marsh. Nabi, Abhishek Sharma, and here comes
No,
Najeeb.
no, that's fine. So Mujib, yeah, sorry, yeah, you're right. The batting order might not work, but yeah, that's basically.
This might be the 11 if they want to play. Three fast bowlers, three spinners. Boom, Bob's your uncle. So this
Ah,
is more of
definitely.
like Kabul 11. You know. So coming on, this looks like a settled side. I have high hopes for him once again. Very planned. I have always been a fan of Mumbai. I think Mumbai and Hyderabad are like the two best sorted, planned teams almost every time, right? Because they had Tom Moody as their coach, who's like Mr. Cricket of coaching, and now they've replaced with another Mr. Cricket of coaching, Mr. Trevor Bayliss, who has been working with England. So it just their clarity of thought. Mumbai and SRS don't shop for players; they shop for roles. You know, they look for roles, and they have 4 5 options for roles. They have price tags for each roles, and they go for it.
Basically, SRH do what India does. As we saw, they have perfect replacements for everyone. Instead
Mm,
of Ashwin, they have Washington Sundar. Instead of, I don't know, just Bumrah, they had Nataraj. Like they've got everything
mm,
sorted. So that's the kind of mindset I think SRH kind of go with.
mm, mm, mm. Right, moving on to the last team, the Shah Rukh Khan team. Not the Shah Rukh Khan that Preeti Zinta bought, not the Veer that Zara bought. It's the actual Veer's team, is what we're looking at. The team that really disappointed me the most last year around. I had massive expectations from this team, and they just didn't deliver. They had. I always hated the captain Dinesh Karthik. The sole reason why Kuldeep Yadav has become devoid of confidence in today's time, and they replaced a captain mid-season. It was quite from there on. It was just downhill for this team. They just didn't do well. They didn't come together.
They didn't do well last season, I must
Mm,
say. They had that, that whole side of Andre Russell being injured or not, changing the captain in the middle.
mm,
And then they didn't have the greatest season. But one thing that shone out, that actually shone for India as well, was Shubman Gill. Shubman
yeah.
Gill is probably like the again, they already knew who Shubman Gill was, but like,
Mm,
came into the fray of things for most of the international audience. So Shubman
right.
Gill, Varun Chakravarti came into the fray,
Yeah.
and they've bought Harbhajan Singh, man. They
Mm,
bought Harbhajan Singh, Bhaji. So let's see how that kind of fits in. But I'm very excited about seeing this new version of KKR. There'll be slight differences from last season, but most of their size is still pretty intact. And we see that name there. We see Dinesh Karthik, but what do we see underneath that? Tim Seifert in T20
mm,
cricket as of late has been an absolute beast. Okay, this guy can tonk it, splash it everywhere, which is probably the reason why Glenn Phillips went unsold, who's really good.
yeah.
I'm a huge Glenn Phillips fan. So Tim Seifert is a great addition to the squad. I don't see how they'll go about it, because this is the thing. They have Shubman Gill at the opening spot, but that second spot is between three different players. You have Rahul Tripathi, Dinesh Karthik, and Nitish Rana fighting for that position, in my opinion.
Let's just make the team away. Gill starts off straight away with. They're not going to do the Narayan experiment, are they?
They shouldn't. They should
Mm.
not do that. Come
I
on.
all I have always loved the look of Tripathi, so let's just go with him and change when we can. And for me, Rana slots at number 3. Owen Morgan slots at number 4. DK Dinesh Karthik's DK slots at number 5 for me. Russell slots at number 5 for me. DK at number
They've
6.
actually bought someone, haven't they?
We'll
They
get
bought
to that.
someone to fit in.
Yeah, we'll get to that. So what else are we looking at here? And then Narayan at number 7, Cummins at number 8. They have Nagar Koti, and then then Prasidh Krishna and Varun Chakravarti. I had emailed this guy for a podcast request, which he didn't accept, but yeah, bad luck. Varun Chakravarti.
Dude's
Yeah,
busy, man. Dude
yeah.
must be busy.
Sure. So this is the 11, Asjad, and here's why I think their auction went well. Okay, they have, for me, their best buy for me was Ben Cutting, a great replacement. Not exactly the high caliber, but not equal in terms of caliber with Russell. But I think Ben Cutting is a fantastic addition to this side. And what else did they go with? What can you tell us about the other things? They added Shakib Al Hassan.
Right. My friend, I
Mm.
think Shakib Al Hassan gets into the side over Narayan.
Mm.
That's my opinion. I think Narayan, for me, doesn't play. I think Shakib plays, which is
Mm.
why I think Shakib plays higher up in the order. I think
Right.
Shakib plays at 5, which is why I don't see DK playing, which is why I have to reconsider some other thoughts. But no, I think Shakib Al Hassan is a great buy. I'm surprised, even still, I can't find a way to put Lockie Ferguson into the side, even though I want Ferguson and Cummins bowling together.
Oh
It's
my
going to
God.
be difficult. It's going to be hard. We can't do it. It's
Wait.
tough, but the only way is if a lot of people get injured, so they have to play Ferguson and Cummins
Mm.
together.
Mm.
However much I want that. So in
Are
this
you
instance, we've gone
are
Shakib.
you
We've
happy
gone
with the
yeah,
opening?
go.
Do you want any replacement for Tripathi? Do we have anyone here?
This is the thing. I would actually go for what's his name? Sorry,
Karun Nair?
Dinesh Karthik to open. Karun Nair is amazing, right? That 300 a few years ago in Test cricket was fantastic. I haven't seen much of him since then, so I would actually go DK as
Mm.
their other opener, and
Mm.
I wouldn't play Tripathi in that instance,
Right.
right? But
But who would
this
you
team
finish
looks
then
fine.
if you open with
I'd
DK?
finish with yeah, I'd finish with Morgan and Russell, or Morgan and Cutting, depending on who plays. And
Mm.
DK just opens up with Gill.
Then you have to slot in one Indian batsman in, and who would that be? Rinku Singh?
I would actually play a spinner known as Harbhajan Singh,
Okay. Let's just.
because
Mm.
like I said, I'm taking out Narayan, right? Right, but we've got Shakib in place of him, so
Yeah.
we have Shakib, we have Harbhajan as the two options, and
Mm.
we have Varun Chakravarti. That's three
Yeah.
spinners right there that they can use. Then
Right.
we've got four potentially fast bowlers, and
Mm.
Russell. However much people say that Russell is fit, not fit, etc., he's never 100% fit. He
Yeah.
is Chris Morris, but from West Indies. Okay,
Right.
so he's not 100% fit all the time, which is the reason why I wouldn't expect him to bowl 4 overs. I'd expect him to bowl 2 or 3, which is exactly what Ben Cutting does. He doesn't
Right.
bowl 4 overs all the time, 2 or 3. So
Yeah.
it's tough to kind of choose their complete 11. But I would not play Narayan. That's just my I
Sure.
can't play
Sure.
Narayan
Sure.
in the
Let's
side.
just put it right here. It's just that Narayan and KKR sentiment goes,
Of course,
centuries back. It's like that. But you know what, Asjad?
yeah,
Since you're a Pakistani and you love fast bowling, let's just make one fast and furious 11 of KKR by having Cummins and Ferguson in the side, because that would be awesome, right? So let's just make a and fast and furious 11. you know I'll tell you. I think
oh,
making this fast and furious 11 is very simple. I'll tell you how. Okay, so for me what happens is, Shakib and Narayan both shouldn't play. All right, so then what
Ferguson plays, and
then what
then
yeah, then
instead
what
of
happens?
Varun, you have Shivam Mavi.
No. I'll tell you. There should be a proper batting replacement, right? So what can we do? So because if we are taking Shakib out there, that's making the batting small. So what would you do? Just, put your coach's hat on and think about it. For me, I think
Who'd you put in? That's the thing.
Cummins.
If he comes up there, we put Ferguson there.
I think Harbhajan is a decent batsman.
And
I,
Harbhajan is a decent batsman, and then you put
you
Ferguson
take
at the bottom. Is that what you're
yeah
saying?
yeah you
11.
take Prasidh Krishna out. Nagarkoti bowls rockets. Ferguson. Now this looks
Right. I'd actually take out I'd actually take out Varun and put Prasidh Krishna or Shiva Mavi, one of those two. Shiva
oh then
Mavi isn't as quick, but he's still pretty good.
I get what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, yeah,
So
here
instead of
comes
Varun, yeah,
Mavi. Yeah,
yeah.
that would be a good option. So this would be a Fast and Furious 11, right? This would be like decent Fast and Furious 11.
Yeah. That's not bad. That's a
Yeah,
pretty good Fast and Furious 11.
it's just that just you lose one batting option in form of Shakib, but it still looks pretty good on paper. You know, It's what you said about Chennai. They will score. They may score 180, but they'll defend it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
And one more interesting option that I was thinking about KKR team is Shakib has been fantastic at the number 3, especially in the 2019 World Cup. So what would you do with the batting order if you want to play Shakib at 3?
Interesting. If you play Shakib at 3, right? Okay, let's look at this, right? You move everyone down, but Rana shouldn't bat anything below 3, right?
Right.
Yeah, we haven't even thought about Kuldeep Yadav. Hold on.
Kuldeep Yadav. Oh my God. I don't. He doesn't find a place for me. If
He never finds a place, does he?
yeah,
He never finds.
Unless Varun Chakravarti all of a sudden loses his form, I don't see him. So for me, I think Gill and Rana might open, and then Shakib would go
Okay, and then Shakib at 3.
3. Probably Tripathi would play a finishing role. That would happen.
If they do that, like I think they'll actually go with more bowling heavy. They'd go with that Harbhajan kind of option or another pace bowler in this scenario that you're presenting. They might go with that rather than going for Tripathi lower down the order.
Right.
Even though he can bat a bit, the pretty decent bat. I'm not like there's no arguments there. I'm just considering what they might do.
Right. Yeah. That would be like 6 proper bowling options who can give you 4 proper overs. But my argument is this is one bowler too many. For me, if they get Harbhajan, they should take Prasad out. No, they won't do that. Yeah, I think this makes sense.
But I like Shakib at 3. Shakib at 3 is interesting. Shakib at 3 is very interesting.
Right. Well, we are done with all the teams. Asjad, what do you think of the upcoming IPL? What do you think it's going to happen? Can we just resign to the fact that Mumbai will win and just close this podcast? What are your expectations from various teams? Like, throw me some teams, throw me some names that you're looking forward to this season.
Like I said before, I think in the playoffs we'll get Mumbai Indians, Delhi Capitals, Rajasthan Royals, and then hopefully CSK, right? But CSK, it just depends how many matches they play on spin-friendly tracks, right? But that's how I see it. To me, Mumbai Indians, if they don't get to the final, but they definitely get to the playoffs. Mumbai Indians are that good, they'll get to the playoffs. Delhi Capitals have such brilliant bowling that they kind of push themselves into that spot as well. And then Rajasthan Royals, that buy of Chris Morris, that buy of, I think, Shivam Dubey as well. The way they've kind of set up their side in this season looks a lot more solid than it did last season, especially considering the fact, if they go to the playoffs, they will retain Archer and Ben Stokes and Josh Butler. They have 3 English players right there. So for me, Rajasthan Royals gets in. And again, I can't tell you who will win because that's blasphemous in certain scenarios. You can't say who wins because then you get attacked all over the place. All I'll say, one of these 3 sides will win, in my personal opinion. But I would like CSK to win because I want Dhoni to retire after winning this season.
Oh my God. Awesome, Asjad. I think that has been a fascinating podcast. I will tell my predictions just before the IPL maybe, but for me, Mumbai hands down wins this IPL.
You made me say mine now?
Mumbai, DC would get in. And for me, the teams that have their bowling sorted, right? For me, I regard those teams as someone that will make for the playoffs. So we'll have to look at the squads again, SRH, and probably, you know what? RCB bowling lineup has a lot of internationals, We are talking about Saini, Siraj, Chahal, Kyle Jamieson. Come on, man. Don't discount RCB just like that, But RCB makes playoffs for me, these 3 teams and one more team with a decent bowling lineup. But I think it's Mumbai's IPL to lose. So let's just see what happens. And thank you very much, Asjad, for joining in this podcast. It's an honor because I don't know how many Pakistanis watch IPL as closely as you do, but this podcast with you was long overdue, and I couldn't pick a better topic to do a podcast with you than an IPL auction. Thank you very much for joining.
No, of course, it's a pleasure. Loved being here. Loved discussing it with you. There are a lot of Pakistanis who do watch the IPL. I just have the pleasure of watching it because I don't live in Pakistan. I live in England. So for me, it's a lot easier to access. But no, definitely, dude, this has been an absolute blast. I have learned to apply myself and figure out a playing 11 rather than saying, no, they'll decide. I'm glad you figured it out this way. Absolutely enjoyed it and can't wait for IPL to start. I think it's meant to start in the first couple of weeks of April, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's no official date yet, but
Right.
excited, can't wait. And thank you once again, everyone watching. Please like, share, subscribe to Sollu Kaburz. Leave a lot of comments, all positive comments about how good Najeeb is as a host, how much he knows about cricket, how much he knows about film, critics, his guests. Dude, his guests are amazing. You've had everyone I could possibly think of, but you got a couple of people in the works, and I can't wait for those. Thank you, Najeeb. I forgot this wasn't something that I'm leading. Take it away.
Oh my God, no problem. Asjad, I don't know how long have we been interacting since, like October, November, the
October.
back and forth, and the amount of support that you give me and people like CFA give me. And I was delighted when your channel hit that 12,000, 15,000 number when the CFA was on your channel, right? And you had Jamie Alter. And for me, one of the best collaborations ever to happen, which I always wanted it to happen. Jamie Alter, Cricket for Americans, and yourself. And you brought these two legend of a cricket channels together on your podcast, which was fantastic. I mean, I would like to look into the emails and the back and forth of what you did to, get that coordinated and sorted and get that scheduled. That must have been quite a struggle, man. But it's very inspiring to see you starting a channel second time, if I'm not wrong. You had a channel which you lost, and obviously that's there's nothing you can do about it. But you have started a second channel. You have only grown and grown in numbers, and I actively follow your channel for cricket updates. And I could not recommend enough, I could not suggest enough for people to go to his channel, Cricket for Us 2.0, and give him a like, give him a share, give him a subscribe, do all the nice things, drop the nice comments. Thank you very much, Asjad, for your time. Thank you very much, everybody, for tuning into this podcast. Till we see you next time with another episode. Bye, everyone.